Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome. The calendar has turned over to a new month, and that means a new supplier of the month. And we are very excited for you to join us this evening for our supplier of the month webinar with Norwegian Cruise Line. On with us this evening is Fiona Cosman, who is the regional field sales manager for Norwegian Cruise Line. Fiona, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Matt. I am really happy to be here.
And also with us on the webinar tonight, we have some of our agents from Vacations for Canadians. We have Karen, we have Luke, Trisha, and myself, Matt Hopey. We're all here to join you this evening to discuss everything Norwegian Cruise Line. We're very excited to partner with Norwegian Cruise Line for our Supplier of the Month. And with that, a presentation for talk all things Norwegian. And happy that we can have Fiona join us this evening. So Fiona, I'm going to turn it over to you to do your presentation. I would ask that anybody who's watching tonight, please feel free to say hello to us in the comments. Feel free to send all your questions in regarding Norwegian Cruise Line or any questions that you might have during the presentation. We'll flag them in the comments. And then once we're done with the presentation, we'll get to all your questions at the end. And with that, I will turn it over to Fiona.
Thank you very much, Matt. It's great to be here, and thank you all for spending time with me tonight. My name is Fiona, as mentioned. I am based in Ontario. I have been in the travel industry for my entire career. I've been with Norwegian for just over a year, actually, but I've been on quite a few ships, and I have some exciting news to share about the brand, about the experience, and about what you can expect on your great holiday and planning as such. So first is the NCL vacation experience. We're really different in the market because of the positioning of the way our ships were purposely designed for the holiday maker being able to create their own experience, their own holiday. It's the freestyle experience. So we don't have set dining times where the entire ship goes to a 7 o'clock dining or 10 o'clock dining. It is up to you as to when you want to go for dinner. And we have so many options to choose from. The vacation experience doesn't stop with the food, although that's a great part of when you go away is to try all new things. But it's the activities as well and what you feel like doing, whether it's to keep quiet and find secluded areas or just go for a spa day or a spa week, or to go to our exhilarating activities. That's an option and for every age group. So you can go for family all together or split apart and have your own individual experiences. The ship is yours to explore, and each person can create their own holiday experience. And just to introduce you, this brief video.
Come see how much more a vacation can be with Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea.
So that's a brief highlight just to showcase happy people. But it is the More at Sea. That's our new sub-brand. We used to have another brand that we've altered it because we added more. We realized that the guest, it's all about the guest, and we want to make sure that the most has been provided. And I'm going to explain more about what More at Sea is. First, we have over 20 ships to select from, doing over 2,000 itineraries that you can choose from Alaska to Hawaii to Europe to as far off as New Zealand or Australia. Our larger ships, our smaller ships, they all offer something different. And your travel agent is the best person to help decipher which cruise is going to be best for you and your travel group. Their first ship that's the most recent new ship that's coming is actually hitting the shores in spring this year, and it's called the Norwegian Aqua. And each ship has a godmother or godfather, and we've got this great actor. He's Eric Stonestreet from Modern Family. You'll recognize him. He's a double Emmy award-winning actor, and he's just great to represent Aqua and be our godfather.
When I'm on vacation, I want less of this and more of this. Welcome to a vacation that's so much more with Norwegian Cruise Line. Tear it up in Jamaica one day, and jam in Aruba another. Followed by amazing meals when you're back on board. Ooh la la. But there's more! And did I mention the unlimited drinks? I love more. Sorry. Experience more with Norwegian.
He's hilarious, and he's doing great ad spots to generate more interest for the Norwegian brand. But Norwegian and the Aqua, I'm not sure if I skipped a slide. I don't think so. But the Aqua is brand new, and we've got a brand new activity just for this ship. It's called the Aqua Slide Coaster. So you can see there's two slides next to each other. So you can go with your traveling partner and race if you wish, but it's a combination of a roller coaster and a slide. So there's a magnetic launching system that launches you into the slide like a roller coaster experience. And you go through that whole apparatus on board the ship. Now, I like to highlight that if you're not that into thrill-seeking activities, you won't even know it's there. So unless you actually go to those activities that are on board to thrill, it really doesn't impact the whole guest experience. But the slide coaster is innovative. It's new to our Norwegian fleet, and it's going to be on the Norwegian Aqua and the Norwegian Luna. And here is just a taste of what you can experience.
Show me something. Bright light, showtime, burn it like you love it. Turn it on, get lost, better show me something. Show me something. Bright light, showtime, burn it like you love it. Turn it on, get lost, better show me something. Show me something. Show me something.
The slide is the longest and fastest slide on sea. So it doesn't stop there. We have lots of other activities. And on this ship, we also have the drop. This is a dry slide, and it starts on, it's 10 stories high, but it starts on the deck 18, and you end up on deck 8. So literally it drops the floor from you, and you go down this slide, and it's so exhilarating. You could also race with your traveling partner and say, you take the elevator, I'll take the drop, and we'll meet on deck 8, which is going to have full of activities as well. But I just love to share that because it's such an exhilarating experience. But just to overview the Norwegian Aqua, we have had experience with this class of ship. It started with the Prima, then the Viva, and now the Aqua. So they're similar, but the Aqua is the the Prima Plus. So we've added 10% more wide open space on the decks, on the sun decks. We've got the new slide coaster, and we've introduced a duplex in our suites. So there's 3 bedrooms and 2 stories, a separate living and dining area, and beautiful decks, balconies on this suite. And it's available within the Haven category, which is your butler service, a dedicated concierge. You have your own restaurant. If you choose, you can go anywhere on the ship, but only Haven guests can go access to the Haven section. We also, for the Norwegian Aqua, brand new entertainment is in store. We're the first to have any partnership with the Prince Revolution, the Prince name since his passing. And we're so excited about this performance. We've been training our own entertainers, and they're prepared and ready to just rock out on the Prince music and dance the night away. We've also introduced shorter, I should say, entertainment. We still have Broadway shows on our ships. For instance, on the Viva, we have Beetlejuice, which I know if you're from Ontario or Toronto area, you know the Mirvish Theatre is playing Beetlejuice in the summer. Well, you can come on our ships and watch it. We have other Broadway shows like the Jersey Boys, the Choir of Men, and here I have a video to showcase because it's so entertaining, but it was a video from a previous promotion. So just ignore the reference to London. This is the same performance that you would see on our ships, which I'm going to share with you now.
From the Garrick Theatre in London's historic West End, Norwegian Cruise Line is proud to present an intimate performance that celebrates friendship, community, and connection. You and me and a bottle of wine. So wake me up when it's over. So wake me up when I'm wiser and I'm older. If you like pina colada and getting caught in the rain. 2, 3, 4. Some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck. Some nights I call it a draw. Well, this is it, boys. This is war. What are we waiting for? Why don't we break the rules already? Live from London, Norwegian Cruise Line presents The Choir of Man. November 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern. ncl.com/embark.
Just great entertainment, award-winning special actors and performers. And these are specific people that are on board for the entertainment. They're not waiters that can sing. They're trained performers, and we have a whole hall in Tampa, not hall, but building in Tampa where we train and work on our performances for you, our guests. And we don't just stop there. It's Broadway shows and music, but we have comedy as well. So you can laugh the night away in our comedy shows. We have parties. So every cruise, we do have a themed party, and you find that on your app when you download. Once you get closer to your sailing, you download the app and you can book different restaurants, different activities, and find out what's in store that week. It's usually a glow party or they call it a white party where you dress up in white, and they have lots of welcome parties as well. Lots of things you can do, or you can do nothing if you want. There's so many areas on the ship where you can find a quiet lounge chair, quiet corner, and enjoy your peace on the ocean. And then, of course, live music. And this is one thing that I discovered when I was enjoying some of the live music. It can be loud. If you go to a pub down the road, it's really difficult sometimes when you're having conversations and live music to have both at the same time. But on our ships, there's something that they've designed the bars and the lounges so that the sound is upwards. The sound is enjoyable, but you can still have full conversations, and it's not interfering in that guest experience. So discover that for yourself. It is a unique thing to realize that you're having a conversation while there's amazing music going on. We also have entertainment throughout the day. So sometimes, of course, we have calendars that arrive in your staterooms to start the day and tells you everything, all the activities that are going on. If you're getting off the ship to the ports, what's available to do on board or off the ship. But through that, you'll see interactive entertainment where we have things like Deal or No Deal. Price is Right, even Wheel of Fortune. These are all activities that you can walk by our atrium area and see crowds just gathering and participating in some really fun and interactive entertainment throughout the cruise. And then you have the quiet areas. So this one is actually a picture from our Haven observation deck, but we have observation decks at the aft of the ship, and it has windows just like this. And when you find that lounge chair, there is a bar nearby, and you can enjoy your cocktail or coffee or your breakfast, and have your quiet book and quiet time as well. There's lots of areas on the ship. So at the start, we talked about more at sea. What makes it more, and what does it mean? So first off, this whole package is what makes a cruise an all-inclusive experience. So when you look at drinks and dining, more at sea, the package will include unlimited drinks, and there's over 100 different spirits included in this. So the drinks package, it includes your gratuities. We also have dining. So dining on a cruise is obviously complimentary. Dining is complimentary. You have 3 different main dining rooms, lots of amazing options. There's a buffet as well that's open with lots of different stations with different featured menus. But also we have specialty dining. So these restaurants are separate. There's teppanyaki, where you can have a very interactive, fun, very much like a Benihana if you've ever been to one in a local city. We also have a French Le Bistro, which has fantastic filet mignon. We also have Italian. There's Thai food, which is being introduced on the Aqua. We have Cagney Steakhouse. These are all specialty dinings. And with More at Sea, you're given credits towards those, so you can experience them as you would a complimentary dining. So depending on the length of your cruise, you could have 3, 4, 5 credits to go and try these specialty restaurants. The More at Sea also includes excursion credits. For guest 1, there's a $50 off. No matter how many shore excursions you can take, it's $50 off guest 1. We have Wi-Fi and 3rd and 4th passenger included in the More at Sea as well. So that's 75% off if you look at dollar for dollar, package for package. If you were not to do More at Sea, it's 75% more. Of course, it would increase because it's based on consumption if you just go a la carte. So it could be even more savings. So it really does give you that all-inclusive feel for when you go on a cruise. So just to break it down, per person, an individual price is $107 per day for your drinks. By More at Sea, it's only $30 a day. Dining, if you're doing 3 credits, that's a 7-day cruise, you get 3 credits. It would be $26 per person per day. In the More at Sea, it's $9 per person per day. The Wi-Fi, $14 per person per day. Under More at Sea, it's free. These are minutes. And for the shore excursions, excursion credits, $29 per person per day. And here we have the free, they call it free, but as I say, it's a $50 credit towards your shore excursions. So how they equated the value for that, it's just to show you that there is true value in the More at Sea. This breaks it down even further. The beverage cost, specialty dining cost, the total cost, and the per person cost for the 7-day for the More at Sea is absolutely advantageous. So definitely talk with your Vacations for Canadians agent to help decide which is the best for you. Now, to further that, we have a private island called the Great Stirrup Cay. It's located in the Bahamas, so many of our ships do include this port of call, but the More at Sea is included in the island. So when you get off the ship, the drinks are part of the package. And it's a fantastic island, lots to see and do. You can actually reserve cabanas, and if you wanted an area for a bed, but you don't stay overnight here. It's usually during the day, but you can do that if you wish to have some quiet time as well. Another feature in the island, we're building a pier. So starting the fall of this year, the ships will be docking at the pier, and you can walk right off into the island. And you saw in the video, there's some zip lining, which I don't know, whenever I've seen zip lining, it's usually got forests and trees everywhere, and I'm thinking I'm going to slam into a tree. But here we've got it sailing right over the beaches and the beautiful shorefront. So it's a great, exhilarating activity. But plan to save and think of the more at sea and talk with your travel agent. We do know that guests who purchase the more at sea have a much better experience when they're sailing. You're not worrying about where you put your drink, or if you have to finish your drink and drink it until it's gone. You can put it down if you need to, and order a different one if you want. We have cocktails on tap, and Matt might share his experience, because we together learned how to make a pineapple coconut mojito, and it was a drink that we sell on board. And there's so many different cocktails. We have cocktails on tap as well as beers, and lots of wines to choose from. And we have wine bars, specialty wine bars as well. Lots and lots to keep your taste buds going and trying different new things. So more at sea, again, is a great way to have that all-inclusive feeling when looking at a cruise. We do go to Alaska. We spend more time in port in Alaska, and lots of cruise itineraries, inside passage, northbound, southbound, great places to see ocean creatures and enjoy the atmosphere of Alaska. We are in port in Hawaii the entire time with the Pride of America. It's a smaller ship. Because we're in port the entire time, there's no casino on board. So you really think of it more as a floating hotel, which, if you're looking at Hawaii, Honolulu to Honolulu, we visit 4 islands. We have 2 overnights. Now, if you were not on a ship and you wanting to see that much of Hawaii, you would have airplanes to get from one island to the other. The lots of hotels that are quite expensive. And you can do that all on the Pride of America. 7 days, as I mentioned, and a great way to see a beautiful island of Hawaii. We do also visit Bermuda. We go through Mediterranean, Greek island cruises. We have Northern Europe cruises. Actually, we go to over 400 destinations around the globe. So these are just ports of call. The larger circles are where our ships depart from. So you can see there's lots to choose from. You can get very adventurous and where you go, or you can keep close to home and do shorter cruises if you wish. Lots to choose from. And your agent, your Vacations for Canadians agent, can certainly find the right cruise for you. And really, at the end of the day, it's not the price that you pay, it's the value that you get. And you definitely get a lot of value. Now, before I close off, there is a certificate that you can purchase through Norwegian, and we match that certificate. So it's $150, and we make that $300. So you can apply that as your deposit. So you're getting $150 off, really. So you buy a certificate, and you apply it, and it's $300. So we match that. We do sometimes have the certificates for $250, and your Vacations for Canadian agent will be able to tell you when that is. So we don't give heads up on that. When it happens, I'm afraid. But it's a great way to have some savings, and you can apply it. It gets tagged to your latitudes, which is your loyalty number with Norwegian. And as more time you sail, you increase the number of points that you have in your latitudes, and you get additional savings as well. But your Cruise First certificate is tagged to the latitudes number, and you can apply that to a future cruise if you wish, or you can give it away as a gift and pay $150 for a credit that's worth $300, and then they can apply it to what their future cruise will be. And on this note, I welcome any questions. I guess I should stop my sharing. Stop screen share. There we go. Okay.
There you go. Thank you so much, Fiona. I was actually writing stuff down as you were doing your presentation, because of course I just got back from the Norwegian Encore, so I still have that glow, that excitement and energy from coming off a Norwegian cruise ship, especially when you just shared. Yeah, so especially as soon as you shared the Choir of Man show, because we enjoyed that so much. We actually went and saw it twice. Exactly the music that they're singing there, they do in their show. I mean, you got to imagine this big Broadway stage with a pub as the background, super interactive. All the singers, they actually bring the audience onto the stage so that you're in the bar. They pour you beer right out of the tap. You have a drink with the performers, and then you go back to your seat, and they break out into song and go through their show, which is just an amazing show. As well, when you were talking about the live entertainment, like we got to go to the comedy shows that were in the social club. We got to see some amazing musicians doing their own solo acts in the District Brew House, which is one of the signature bars that they have on the ships. And in fact, some of the Choir of Man performers actually do pop-up shows during your cruise, so that you get that intimate interaction with some of the performers. So it's just a really neat experience. And then of course the last thing that I wrote down was when you showed the observation lounge, because of course our cruise happened over the President's Day weekend and also the Family Day weekend for us. So it was a very busy ship. But for people that were going to the buffets or whatever to eat, a lot of them were getting their food and then moving one deck down to where the observation lounge was, and have that beautiful view out of the back of the ship and be able to relax and enjoy, because it's such a spacious area with an abundance of seating, as opposed to being a little bit busier in the buffet. You could go down and sit in that lounge and relax in comfort. There's a bar there. You could have a mimosa in the morning and enjoy your breakfast, and it was just a great way to have a little bit of tranquility with your breakfast, as opposed to the chaos and buzz that goes on in the buffet sometimes in the morning.
Amazing. I wish I was there. Sounds great.
But yeah, I appreciate the presentation. I mean, obviously, part of the excitement of having a partner supplier of the month is some of the promotional offers that we run in conjunction with our partner supplier, and Norwegian is no different. So I know we have some promotional offers that we want to mention tonight. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Linda so that we can kind of go over some of the promotional offers we have. And then we've been flagging all these questions, so I know we're going to get to some of those questions as well. But Linda, if you want to, do we want to do the questions first, or do we want to do the offer?
Well, now I've popped it up, so we'll go with the offer and what's going on for Supplier of the Month. So thank you for joining us, Fiona. Thank you for your continued support and for being our Supplier of the Month. We're really excited to have Norwegian on board. And for those of you joining us tonight, you're going to be really excited about the exclusive offer because it is a $200 US onboard credit for any sailing, balcony or above. So when you book your next cruise with Vacations for Canadians during the month of March, you're going to get that $200 onboard credit if you're in a balcony or above on any sailing. And thank you, Fiona. That's an amazing offer, and we're really excited to pass that on to our clients. And then the webinar, obviously, that is tonight. So again, thank you for joining us, everybody who's on with us, and to Fiona and our sales team as well. And then we have a special giveaway coming up on our Facebook group. So if you're not part of our Facebook group, you should definitely join because we've got a really cool swag bag from Norwegian Cruise Lines that we're going to be giving away. And you'll be able to join that giveaway. I believe we are going to do that one on the 14th. So keep your eyes open. And that giveaway is going to be coming up on the 14th on our Facebook page. And I believe there's another promotion running right now that combines with our offer. Now it is on certain sailings, and it's 7 nights plus. And it just runs from until March 10th. So it's free prepaid service charges or gratuities, I guess, on guests 1 and 2 in a balcony above. Now that is select sailings, and it's not applicable on the Aqua or the Luna, but definitely speak to your Vacations for Canadians travel advisor, and they can tell you if the itineraries you're looking at or the sailings you're looking at are able to combine those two offers. So lots of exciting stuff coming up this month. Great offer from Norwegian Cruise Lines, and I'm going to pass it back to Matt and let him take over the questions for us.
All right, let me see if I can get this going here.
I'll mention something. So the slide coaster I talked about, but some of our other ships. So since one of the promos doesn't include Aqua or Luna, it won't include the slide coaster. But other ships has race cars. So they're electric powered, and it's a large track. But again, if you don't go to the racetrack, you don't really know it's there. But when you do, it's so exhilarating. You go around about 6 times. It's wide enough that you can pass. So that's on a number of our ships. We have walk the plank on some of our ships where they harness you up, and you don't actually go in the ocean, but it's so exhilarating. Anyway, there's lots of activities to choose from on our ships.
There we go.
Did you have any questions?
Yeah, I was just on the Encore. We were actually racing on the go-karts. And it was great because they have times for families with the double seated cars in the mornings, and then in the afternoons they do the single seaters, which go much faster, and they have the time trials for those, so you can see your posted lap times as you're whipping around on the track. And it's 2 decks. It's a massive track, so it's not just a small little racetrack. It is actually quite large. So we're going to get into the questions, Fiona. So I hope you're ready because we got quite a few of them. So we have the first one here, which comes from Mary Alice. She's asking, what ports does Norwegian sail out of to tour Fiji and New Zealand?
That's a good question. I would suggest going to the website. Would probably give you the best and most quick answer. I'm going to see if I can go there. While you're asking another question, I'm going to pull up the website. Again, we're going to over 400 destinations, so I'm sorry I don't have it just at the top of my mouth,
All right.
top of my mind. But ncl.com. So
All right.
Fiji.
Well,
Okay.
while you're looking
please.
at that one, I will go over to the next one here, which comes from Megan, who is asking about the slide coaster, since you touched on the Aqua slide coaster, and she was asking if that's included in your cruise fare or is that an additional cost? And same with the dry slide that you showed, the drop slide.
Yep. The slide coaster and the dry slide are both part of the cruise. So there's no upcharge for those.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. That covers those two. This one is a bit of a lengthy one from Robert, but obviously this comes with a lot of the current appetite with the political environment these days. So Robert's asking, with the Canadian boycott that's starting with the USA, a lot of Canadians don't want to travel to the US, but still want to cruise in the Caribbean. So what island ports do you recommend we can leave from? He just got back from doing Los Angeles to Miami in December. I have 2 others booked, but wants to move them away from the US. So obviously this is a lot of the current climate that we're dealing with right now, even as an agency, with guests that are looking to move away from US ports as far as embarkation ports. So Robert's asking if there's any Caribbean ports that Norwegian offers.
Yeah. You can fly, and I can't remember the actual itinerary, but we do have an itinerary that's from San Juan, and it goes through a number of Caribbean islands, and you don't go into the US. So there are itineraries that you can book with Norwegian from the Caribbean or even through Mexican Riviera. There are, in South America, you can find local area cruises that don't go through Miami or Galveston or New York. There are options. I mean, I'm Canadian.
Yeah, while we're going through these questions, I'll look up the itineraries as well. I believe there is one Caribbean itinerary that goes out of the Dominican and does a loop of the Caribbean, but actually based itself out of the Dominican. So I just want to make sure, because I'm pretty sure there's one like that as well.
Yes. Yes, and I've seen a picture of the itinerary. I just can't think of the details. And I'm struggling to find just Fiji mentioned, but I know that we do. Looking back at the presentation, the map, we absolutely have those options, and you can find it. It's just it's not at my fingertips right now. But yeah, as a Canadian, I'm making different choices at the grocery store. But you look at a company, this publicly traded company. I looked at who owns Norwegian, and there's multiple owners. There's financiers that own it, and they're not all American. There's some from Singapore that have, I think, 48% ownership. But I totally understand not being in the US and supporting the local US market. But when you're on board our ships, we're full of people from all over the globe. It's such a multicultural, there's no fine line, I guess, is the point there. And this too shall pass. So it could be next week. We don't know what Mr. Trump is planning. I'm saddened to hear that tomorrow there's plans, but I'm loving that Doug Ford is doing what he's doing. It's politics. It's not vacations, but just know that you're not supporting just one thing with a cruise line. It's multicultural.
Right.
And I'm still searching.
So just get back to, I'll just touch on getting back to Robert's question about the Caribbean cruises that are not sailing out of New York. The cruise port is Punta Cana, so I was right. It's the Dominican Republic. It's on the Norwegian Sky, so they do have itineraries going. There's 9-night Caribbean cruises that are going on. There's also some 7-day ones. So there is options out of the Dominican that just sail around the Caribbean islands and then come right back to the Dominican. So you can avoid that. So Eleanor was just asking a follow-up question in regards to the dry slides. Obviously, the slides and the Aqua coaster has generated some excitement for some of our listeners tonight. So they're asking about reservations for that as well as the shows. So I'll let you touch on those.
Sure. Well, first off, if you're in the Haven, they have a dedicated concierge desk and priority reservations. So you can do that. For all of our cabins, you're able to download the app and make reservations prior to your checking in. So I think it's about 30 days before your sailing date, you can go into the app and make reservations. Now, nothing will be sold out beforehand. There will always be an allotment that is there for those on embarkation day. So when you first get on the ship, you want to make those reservations, whether it's for the spa, for a specific restaurant, or for any of the activities. You can do that on board as well.
Yeah, and I will say that with the reservations for the shows, so like example with the Choir of Man, it was a very popular show. So the second performance or the second night of performances were sold out, but they do have a standby line. So even if you miss out on that reservation window and you don't get a reservation, not all hope is lost. These shows usually happen on sea days. And once people start to enjoy a couple of bevies on board, or they spend a little bit too much time out in the sun, lo and behold, they missed the show. So if you're in that standby line, there's a pretty good chance that there'll be some openings. So there is still opportunities for you to see those amazing shows on board. So now Megan is asking, and go ahead.
No, I was just, I'm still looking Fiji. So I've seen lots of islands, but nothing. I can't find specifically right now. That your travel agent will absolutely be able to find this for you. But we have like Vietnam and Thailand and Singapore, Philippines, Hong Kong, Taiwan, lots and lots. This is may not be searching for the right, but anyway, your travel agent can absolutely find this. Indonesia, we're going to all these places. You had another question?
Yeah. So Megan was asking, is there a love and marriage show on board? I have a feeling that her and some of the other viewers here might be getting into a little bit of trouble with their competitive edge if they attend one of these shows. But I know that they're very interested to know if this is one of the shows that they have on board.
I've not heard that. It's called, what is it called?
So she was asking love and marriage. I know there is a very similar show to it, kind of like the newlywed game that they do on the show, or that they do on the ship. It's hosted by the cruise director. So on the Encore, just on, they did have that. I mean, they have a lot of these fun, entertaining shows and games that they have on the Encore. My wife and I ended up in one of these ridiculous shows that was like, you had to achieve some sort of task within 55 seconds, and then they did multiple rounds. And my wife and I got drawn at different times, and we both won our round. So we ended up facing each other in the finals. I did not win in the finals. I think that was a smart decision on my part not to win. But they definitely have these interactive shows with the cruise director as the host. And there is one like that. At least on the Encore, there was one. It's kind of like the newlywed game that they had.
I've got a chart of all the entertainment, and it's quite lengthy, so I won't read it through. At quick looking at it, it does have like Prom, Turn Back Time, Showdown, the Broadway Cabaret, Throwback 1969, Deal or No Deal, as I mentioned, Howl at the Moon, Elements. I'm not sure what that is. If I click on it, it'll tell me more. But Get Down Tonight, Burn the Floor, Ocean Music Fest, there's so much. I don't see anything specific to love and marriage specifically. Yeah, but I will go back to the question of Fiji. We have Lutoka, Fiji. It's a 14-day cruise on the Norwegian Sun from South Pacific, from Papeete to Lutoka, French Polynesia, Fiji, Samoa, Moorea, and French Polynesia, for example. So yes, we do have that.
All right, there we go.
And I just
there
want to
are some
ask
out
Matt,
there. Yeah.
Matt, did you throw that game so your wife would win?
No, she beat me fair and square. And at the end of it, we both won a lovely deck of NCL cards that we now have at home.
That's funny.
Okay, so the next question comes from Anne. So Anne was just asking, are the Cruise First certificates that you were discussing before, are those in US funds or Canadian funds?
So they can be either. It's still 150 or 150, whether it's in US or Canadian. But just know, if you're applying it, if you buy it in US, it has to be for a US booking. So if you're booking a cruise, you book it in Canadian to match a Cruise First certificate that you've purchased in Canadian. If you buy it in US, you have to apply it to a US booking. So if that makes sense. So it can be either or, but it has to be the same currency as the cruise that you're purchasing.
Yeah, and I did notice that when we were on the ship, the Future Cruise Desk had a massive line every day because people were in line to either book their next cruise and take advantage of the amazing offer that they have on board, which is their Cruise Next certificates. So you can buy deposit vouchers for future cruises while you're on board, and then they'll give you onboard credit that you can apply to your current sailing. So if you started running up a tab at the spa, then you go and book yourself, you buy 4 future cruise vouchers, and then they give you $1,000 onboard credit to cover your spa tab that you've run up over the course of your sailing. Not that that's what I did.
We won't tell.
All right. Marilyn has asked if there's any availability for upcoming holiday cruises.
A good question. Availability will be your travel agent will help you find that. Did you have another kind of thought around that, or just the fact that it's the date that you're looking for?
I'm just wondering if any of our agents might be able to
Well, I know
jump
that
in here.
if they're looking to ask us, yeah. All right, I'll fill the dead air. We do have some group space on different holiday sailings that go that we have available. We kind of spread out our marketing. So if there's something that you're specifically looking for a holiday cruise, we do definitely have some discounted group space available on multiple holiday seasons. So whether it's Christmas, whether you're looking at a shorter work week like a Thanksgiving or an Easter, we always target those ones when we're trying to grab some of our group space. So regardless of whatever holiday season that you're looking for, we definitely have some. So reach out to your travel advisor and we'll be able to offer you some of the exclusive rates that we have. And then you can apply one of those Cruise First vouchers to that sailing.
And just to confirm, when they've said group space, our partners can hold group space. It doesn't mean you have to be in a group. You can sell one cabin. But that group space that they have, they're holding the price. So that's why it's a special, because they're holding a price today that could go up in future, because cruise rates are very much like a stock market, goes up and down for demand. So if you have group space, it won't change. It won't fluctuate. So they're holding the space for you.
I'll chime in here. I just booked 2 cruises today on NCL Breakaway out of New York City. It's a December 23rd to January 4th cruise, so it's actually a Christmas and a New Year's celebration at sea. And we do have some exclusive rates on that particular sailing. So reach out to one of us and we'll provide you some information. But that's just an example of what's available.
There you go, Marilyn. All right. Next. So Eric was asking, I think he's looking for clarification. He purchased a cruise next while he was on board. Can he still use the cruise first promo?
It's only one or the other, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so they're not combinable, but there's no expiration on it. So you can, if you purchase a cruise first, you can have that sitting on your loyalty account and still use your cruise next voucher, and then hold on to your deposit voucher for another sailing. Eleanor has asked another question here. She's looking, asking about the main dining rooms, if they're open for all 3 meals.
Yes.
There you go. Very easy. And in addition to the main dining room, there's also Taste and Savor. They have a mirrored menu of the main dining room, so smaller scale, but also more intimate seating. So not for those like larger groups, but certainly for tables of 2 and 4. Amazing dining venues that they have on board, which are also complimentary, where you can have breakfast, lunch, or dinner as well. So in addition to the main dining room, there are other complimentary options available to you that you can have breakfast, lunch, or dinner in instead of going to the buffet. This question's for me, Fiona, so you're off the hook for this one. She was asking about how did the hiding of 300 ducks go. So I still have a couple of posts left to go from our hosted cruise that we just did, but on a previous presentation that we did, Fiona, we talked about the duck tradition and how hiding ducks has become sort of a tradition on cruise. And so, of course, in preparation for our hosted cruise on Norwegian Encore, we ended up bringing 200 because we had to kind of split the load because I have another hosted cruise coming up in a week. So we had to keep some aside for our second sailing as well. But we actually gave some to our guests and had them distribute them on the ship as well. So we got everybody involved in it so that we didn't have to do all the work. It was free labor for us to just hand out the ducks to our guests and let them get in on some of the fun as well. So
that is fun.
Yeah, so we got them all involved. There we go. Oh, hello. Nice to see you as well, virtually. If you book a cruise by March 10th and get the $150 cruise first, to $200 onboard credit and the free gratuity. So they're looking to see if they can combine all 3 of those. So do you want to tackle that one, Fiona, as far as how they can combine all 3 of those promotions at once if they get it within that window?
Sorry, what was the question again?
So they're just saying if I book a cruise by March 10th, because we have the free prepaid gratuities that Linda mentioned earlier, if they book a cruise by March 10th, can they also use a cruise first voucher and still get the $200 onboard credit offer that we have for our show offer with the webinar tonight?
They get the show offer just by booking. The March 10th is only for that particular one. So that has a deadline for that. A cruise first, it has to be for a sailing that's at least 4 months out. So you can book it today, but it has to be a sailing that's 4 months, at least 4 months out from the date that you purchased the cruise first. So the answer is yes, but it depends what, but it basically yes, but it really depends on, there's an anomaly that it wouldn't work, but I doubt it.
Right. So like Linda mentioned before with the free prepaid gratuities, those are on select sailings. So as long as we're looking 4 months or more in advance, the cruise first voucher will work. So as long as we hit one of those select sailings for the free prepaid gratuities, then yes, all 3 of those could be combined into one booking. And I think that's it. That's all of the questions we have.
Well, those were great questions.
Well done, Fiona.
Well, thank you. But great questions, and there's so much to delve into. And ncl.com is a great place, but also your Vacations for Canadians with specials, with those group dates, are there to help you. And I appreciate the opportunity. Nice to meet everyone.
All right, so Eric has just asked us to review the promotion that we have going on again for our Partner Supplier of the Month. So Linda, I know you flagged the question, so I know you're ready to answer the question. So I'll give that to you one more time to review what our amazing offers that we have with our Partner Supplier of the Month with the Norwegian Cruise Line.
I can definitely do that. So it is a $200 US onboard credit on any sailing in a balcony or above. So that is any sailing regardless of date or ship. So that is great. It's a pretty much as long as you're in a balcony or above, you get a $200 onboard US credit. Now there is a supplier promo running that is March to March 10th, and it is for the free prepaid gratuities for guests 1 and 2. That is also in a balcony above. However, it needs to be a 7+ night sailing. It cannot be on Aqua or Luna, and it's applicable on certain sailings. So that's something you'd really need to check with your Vacations for Canadians travel advisor to find out if your cruise is eligible or not, if that sailing is eligible, or to find one that is. And then we have a giveaway going. It's going to be on the 14th on our Facebook Cruise Deals for Canadians page for an NCL swag bag. So you can join us over there and maybe be the lucky winner of some fun swag.
There you go, Eric. Hopefully you were taking notes this time for your wife so that you can make sure you get it all right, because if you don't get it right, I'm sure we'll all hear about it. So we want to make sure that we always are diligent in our note-taking to pass along all the information to our wives, who are really the ones that look after all of our travel, and we just go along for the ride. Talking about Norwegian Cruise as one of our travel advisors who's with us tonight on the presentation. Karen, if I believe correctly, you have a hosted sailing coming up with Norwegian that our guests can take advantage of that onboard credit offer.
I do, yes. We're going to be sailing on the Aqua in January 18th of next year. So I'm going to be getting a bit of a sneak peek of the ship in a couple of weeks, actually next month. So I'm excited to try that slide out, get ready and primed up for to have a bit of a competition with some of the guests. So that'll be quite exciting and a lot of fun.
Exciting.
Amazing. So for those that were showing that excitement for the dry slide and the slide coaster, what better time to be able to experience that than on a cruise at sea and join Karen on the hosted sailing on the Aqua in January 2026. So definitely one to take advantage of there. Well, thank you again so much, Fiona, for your presentation tonight, for educating us all a little bit more on Norwegian Cruise Line and everything that we have to look forward to over the month of March. I'm excited to share with everybody our Spirits of the Sea episode that we shot so that they can see us making a cocktail together. And hopefully we're looking forward to a really great month of partnership with Norwegian Cruise Line.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you. Thanks so much, everyone.
Right.
Happy sailing.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening, and we'll see you again soon.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.